Good afternoon.
Planet Earth. That's my co-host, Dominic Leonelli.
How we doing? Thank you. Cheers. Give it up for Amy Jans.
What's up, everybody? You can add Dominic at Dom's Details on Instagram, YouTube, and all of those.
Yep, that's right. Please add me Dom's Details. And Amy, your Insta, Amy J. Jans, and I come across your TikTok a lot in my For You page. I love it. What's your TikTok name? Yeah.
Everything is at Amy J. Jans. Made it nice and simple.
Cool.
So I think I'm shadow banned on TikTok.
Yeah, who knows? Me too.
Oh my God. Well, actually, I did an experiment. So my friend Francis and I were doing a little web series and we're doing it remote. So I made us a new account, Refurbished Dreams, right? And I got over 100 likes almost on every post, right? For Refurbished Dreams. I post the same thing on my personal one. I only got 40 views and 5 likes. So it's not the content. It's not about the content. Isn't that interesting?
That is crazy. So yeah, it all depends on the page.
Yeah.
Well, I think even the page what they're going to you for, like there's some creators that I follow. Like, did you see the guy where he runs in the bathroom and he's like, if books are all supposed to be read or whatever? I don't know if you know that guy. He runs in the bathroom and says something really crazy, like, and in the mirror, and then he goes like, and does this like reaction thing with his face.
Oh, I'm glad I don't.
No, he's funny, but then he switched it up. He's just like, hey guys, so I want to tell you a story, and I'm just not into it. I come to the page for that thing.
Right.
The brand of it, the branding of it.
Wow. So they're done with him. They're like, or did they shadow ban him? Did they give him less views?
I don't. His video that's not him doing his thing was way less views. That's one thing I know. It was way less. You know, I feel like people get used to certain things, you know. I remember I had countless people when Chappelle started coming back and doing stand-up, and the people that know I'm a comedian, they'd be like, oh, yeah, but I don't know. He don't look the same. He's not as skinny. People who would say that. Like, he's a grown man. He's not a kid no more. Like,
yeah. I think people are so attached to memories as opposed to what actually the content is. Like, they're attached to a certain feeling that a particular thing brought them. So like maybe they were in high school when they saw him and they're in a different place and they couldn't really, I don't know.
No, you're right. Like those, like you should see my uncles when Aerosmith comes on, they'll have this guitar and they'll really be getting into it. They'll be so happy. Freebird. Woo! Freebird! They'll be going nuts. Is that Leonard Skinner? My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Whenever I listen to Lil Wayne, I think of school, high school and stuff.
Yeah.
Eminem.
Totally. And I mean, even stuff that I used to love when I was a kid, and now I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, this isn't it doesn't feel like I remember it.
Right. I went back to my old elementary school and it felt so small. Even my old job, when I went back to Ohio, I was like, man, I thought this was a huge garage. And it was really just only like 5 bays. Can only fit 5 cars. In my mind, I thought was like huge. And when I went back home.
That is weird. Yeah, like when you're a kid, things seem bigger than they actually are.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well,
what have you been up to?
Actually just falling off my diet into the new year. I was good for December 31st. Yeah,
it's
New
like
Year's Eve.
Normally people for the new year, they like get inspired and they go into the diet. You went totally reverse?
Yeah, I went reverse. I was great for the first couple days, and then I don't know, it's just one of those things. I was actually good for a week. I started like the 24th or something, just to have like a head start. And then I was like, okay, it's been a week. I seen them results in the mirror, and I was like, oh, I look good. I ate a little peanut butter cup. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, I'm still not fat. I'm good. So then I ate ice cream, trays of cookies, bags of popcorn. I'm like, oh God, I couldn't even move last night.
So now tell me, what was the feeling when you were binging or whatever you want to call it, like diving deep in the dessert?
Yeah.
What was your thought? Were you like, oh no? Or were you like, yum, this is amazing?
I did enjoy it, but if I had to balance it out, the truth was I was more like, oh no. In the beginning, I was like, yum, this is amazing. Then I put it back. But by the time I was finishing it, and it's only been like a few hours, and I'm finishing ice cream, a box of cereal, I bought a cake. Like I ate a whole cake, and I'm just like, you
Oh,
know, it's like easily could have been like a 3-person cake. I was thinking, eat some, save some, eat some later, give some to, my girl when she comes over, whoever. Like, and yeah, by the time I was finishing that last bite of cake, I really was like, it felt like adrenaline, like I was stealing, kind of. Like I knew it was wrong.
I know exactly that feeling because I think I told everybody about when I was rep by a manager. I was signed by a manager when I was 16, and he told me he did that. Like, oh, you're perfect. You're stocky. He called me stocky and said I need to lose weight. So I thought I could control my career by being skinny. I was skinny, and then people were like, oh, if you were any thinner, you would disappear. And so it was that moment where I realized I was like, I'm never going to be good enough to other people's opinion. So F that. I was a mess. I didn't have any energy to even move my mouth.
Wow.
I was so messed up. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to be mean to myself if I do want to eat. The moment I was treating myself like I would a baby in terms of eating, the weird cravings and like the punishment cravings, that's the part that's weird. Like, why am I punishing myself by eating a crumb cake? That's
Yes.
the weirdest punishment. Like, if I was a parent, I'd be like, you're grounded. Well, oh, have you seen Matilda?
No.
Okay, there's this teacher, Miss Trenchbull. She actually punishes this kid, Bruce, by eating a chocolate cake the whole thing till he got sick. And it's the same emotion. It's shame. It's
Yeah.
embarrassment. Why do I was making myself feel embarrassed on purpose as if I was trying to teach myself a lesson. That's not how you teach yourself a lesson. So next time you feel that blood pumping, that adrenaline, take a step back and be like, all right, I'm worthy of love. I deserve love. I am full. So you're trying to fill your insides because maybe one needs a little more love, self-love. Excuse me. So compliment yourself and be gentle.
Yeah, I can't figure out what it is. Like when I know I'm not hungry, I'm positively
You're
bloated.
trying to control. You're trying to control something. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the state of the world, the pandemic, that's totally understandable. One would feel the wanting to control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It makes sense. It all adds up. One is trying to control that we're so frantic, the entire world right now. So, yeah, we all want to make logic to what's going on, and we want to feel like we have some control despite not having control at all. So, surrender, let go, and feel like the world has your back and you're safe.
yeah. I need to get more like that. And I know I could go without it because I did before when I was broke. I remember not having money and I was
Right.
fasting for different reasons. Like so I know I could do it. Like I just have to do it again.
And
Like I tried to go.
you might be trying to eat to protect yourself because you were at a point in your life when it was that scarcity, that lack mentality, because money is scarce and you didn't know when your next meal, was going to come. So when you had food, you got to eat it all up and don't waste it. There's that lacking.
Yeah, I caught myself here with it started when I was like, okay, I need to maybe sit down and do some work here. When I have too much time to myself, like when I was like, okay, I want to type up my jokes. Next thing I know, I'm biting my nails, which I did complete the thing though. So I'm
That's
happy
good.
about that. I completed the project.
I'm the same
And
way. When I need to do something, I'll brew like 80 cups of coffee. I'm just like chugging coffee. I sit down and then because I'm so like strung out from coffee, I sit down and I can't focus. So it's like I purposely self-sabotage because I was afraid of failing. But remember, like Jackie said, the life coach, was we got to think about why. Why are we doing this? Because we're afraid of failing. We're afraid of being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is very uncomfortable. And I think that's why I do a lot of my self-sabotaging, because I don't like to be uncomfortable. But the thing is, you got to sit butt to chair and think no matter what you write is enough.
right. Yeah, I agree. You're right. And sometimes the jokes just come. What's new with you, Amy?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing a lot of projects. The thing is, I'm trying to get so much content out there that is taking away from me writing. This editing and posting, uploading, it's so time consuming. It's so frustrating. So I got to streamline it somehow. I wish I could afford an assistant. I think that's the way to go. Just hire somebody to do all of your editing, SEO. Oh my God, it makes me nauseous. I just want to write for like 8 hours. And so, yeah, I saw that there's a new app available that is like the new thing. Have you heard of it? It's called Clubhouse.
No, I haven't heard of it.
All right, I'm going to share with you
Well,
the
you're
thing.
pulling it up. Can I just ask you, when you come across doing your stuff, do you have little things that you catch yourself doing, walking away from it? Like when you get excited, I constantly need to walk away from the project, no matter what it is. Do you ever do that?
So, like, do I find myself sitting down to do it and then walking away?
And like doing the dishes, just finding something
Yeah,
else, taking a shower to where you're like, oh, I gotta do this.
absolutely. It's resistance. When I'm doing that, it is resistance. Sometimes I'll let myself lean into that. Sometimes it's good to embrace it, the resistance. Like, for example, I mean, hell, I've never cleaned my apartment so fantastic than when I have a deadline for a paper. So I'm like, okay, let me lean into this. Heck, maybe I should assign myself some deadlines just to clean my apartment, like, because that's
Yeah.
how I'll get stuff done. So either one, lean into it. I've started to realize the way my brain works, I am a last minute person. I thrive. I get like a freaking vein. My veins start throbbing being last minute. I'm a last minute person and I've been starting to embrace it. Like, I'm just like, all right, well, I could sit down a week in advance prior to it being due, but then I know I'm not going to actually get work done. And I'm just going to be like going in Google rabbit holes. So I might as well just do it the night before. And then I
Yeah.
saved like 50 hours by just like embracing the way my brain works. So I don't know, either one, I'm starting to learn to lean into it. And two, I realized just this month how important being uncomfortable is. And so I'm like, I have to talk to myself like, okay, this is uncomfortable. I know I don't want to be uncomfortable. But if I want to grow, I got to be uncomfortable. So, yeah, I've been doing that and just like been training myself that like life doesn't always have to be happy, happy, high, high, you know? It's
Right.
going to
Yeah.
be brutal. And that's probably when the most growth kicks in, when it is brutal.
Yeah, I need to sit down and get more focused. That's one of
Do
my
you
goals I'm really
meditate?
working on. That's
Do
one of
you
my goals that I'm really working on. I'm sorry, what was that?
do you meditate? Oh yeah,
Sometimes, yeah.
don't do it sometimes. Do it all the time. Do it every day. Make that commitment to yourself because meditation can help you release the resistance.
Yeah, I need to be more on the ball with everything. I'll start procrastinating to meditate.
Oh yeah, you know what I do? I just make myself do it every day the moment I wake up. And sometimes I can't get into the meditation, but then it's like, okay, I'll try again. I'll try again tomorrow.
That's
So
cool.
we got to start treating ourselves like we would a baby, you know?
Yeah, organic produce. What do we
Yeah,
got going on here? Clubhouse app. Would this help us in any way with our lifestyles?
I think so. So, well, what is Clubhouse app? If you've been buzzing or if you've been hanging out on social media, blah, 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 new platform allows people to chat in real time, share stories, collaborate. I could open it up right now. So, what it is, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know if I'm going to like it because it's actual people. Wait.
You saw that some of the best users of that game that come back and sort of play their characters through and then get upsold into premium features were actually more like people in their 30s and 40s in.
Hi. That's all it
Uh,
is. It's people. It feels like I'm eavesdropping. It's
it's
the
people just talking?
Yeah, it's people just chatting. I don't know. So for me, I'm still a little hesitant. Like, why would I do this? But also, I'm kind of like, maybe that is the future. I kind of miss. I've been calling my friends more than texting, to be honest, because texting is a whole day thing. It's literally 24/7. One conversation with one friend. Bing, bing. And it's like, okay, I'd rather just have a 20 to 30 minute conversation and then I could let my brain chill, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm learning every time you get interrupted, your brain goes bing. And then it's like, I'm trying to focus. And then my attention span gets robbed by external things. So I'm starting to appreciate talking literally, like talking verbally to people again. As I hated it from 2008 to now, talking on the phone. I'm like, ugh. But now I'm like, no, I like talking on the phone better than texting.
Yeah, my ultimate space timing, truthfully. I like the video conversation.
Yeah, same. It just feels so nice to see people. It
Yeah.
feels somewhat normal sometimes too. Like my two friends, Erin and Christina, we sometimes have wine nights and we used to go out to the West Village, East Village, get drunk and have a good old time. And it's transitioned to this. They also moved out of the city. And I have to say, sometimes it feels just as good as being in person.
Now, from what you can see from Core, is it like a FaceTiming thing or a Zoom call? Basically, everybody could see you too, or you're just watching
Oh, for what is
that
it?
app Core, or
Clubhouse?
what was it? Clubhouse, yeah.
Yeah, it's really just like you're eavesdropping. You cannot see people, so that's kind of, I don't
You
know
just
that.
hear their voices.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe I'll toy around with it. I don't know. We'll see. It still feels very uncomfortable, just like cutting in on some people I don't know.
Yeah, and they're just giving information. Or are they
I
people
think
just talking about life even?
they will have like meeting rooms and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I think I gotta be uncomfortable. Back to that point, I have to be uncomfortable and stop being shy. I do get shy in terms of meeting new people if I'm by myself. If I'm with people, then I like it. But if I'm by myself, oof, I will not initiate that. Oh,
Yeah.
that is the one thing I do not miss about live comedy shows. Remember, like live comedy shows, when you go to a new show that you haven't been before and you're just hanging out and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm always the weirdo, like standing there and I'm like telling myself, like, all right, just say hi. Like I'm in my head, like, just say hi. It's no big deal. And then I finally get the courage to say hi, like, oh, hey, what's up? And they look at you like this.
Yeah.
Like, what's your problem? Like another human. We're amongst humans. No one's interrupting. Like extend the hand as well. Jeez, people are lonely, dude.
I know exactly what you mean. When I went to some of these newer ones, it is funny when people like that aren't even really doing comedy just think because their five friends would always do
Yeah,
this mic on Tuesdays. It's like their
right.
thing. You
Yeah.
know, look at like when Bill Burr came to that club in Times Square that didn't really follow comedy and they didn't put him up. Remember that? That one club. There's a club in Times Square that's like they have shows there, but they don't really follow comedy. It's a mix. They have like improv shows and magic. People just kind of use the theater space for comedy.
Is
And
it Times Square?
no, but it's right around the corner. I don't want to say the name of it, but it's a club that caught a lot of bad press for not booking Bill Burr. They don't follow comedy. So
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't hear about it. And
I
they
never
didn't
heard about that.
yeah, they never booked Bill Burr. And he's like, no, you don't understand, I'm Bill Burr. And the guy's telling the manager, like, you gotta put him on. The comics, like he's like the biggest comedian in the world right now.
How are you in comedy and you don't know Bill Burr? Like people got to know the history.
Right. It's crazy how most gatekeepers are just failed open micers. It seems like I find out on the road. I don't know much about big
Yeah.
cities. But most of the time, the guy be like, yeah, I booked this club. I tried comedy. Wasn't for me. I couldn't get much laughs. So now I just pick who performs. Yeah,
Uh,
they didn't know who Bill Burr was. Well, the manager quit and the club
I
was,
never heard.
even the club was,
Oh, okay. All I had to do was Google it, and I don't want to, I'm aware someone does business.
yeah,
I
some
don't want
clubs.
to say anything, um, but
What did you Google?
all I Googled was Bill Burr Times Square, and it popped up.
Yeah. Well, the
Oh,
club didn't it
he goes,
wasn't the owner, it was the
that.
manager. It wasn't the owner, it was the manager. So they the manager quit and moved back home, I guess. People wrote about it.
Wow, that is a shame. That is a shame. Let alone, come on.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is the fact, yeah, just not knowing the huge celebrity.
If you don't know Bill Burr and you're in comedy, you gotta just leave comedy. It's just about knowing your history. I wouldn't become a surgeon if I didn't know certain body parts. You want to be in the industry, you got to know what's up. You don't know what's up if you don't know, but
It's
I know
crazy. Do you ever talk to some comedians just know so much? It's like some comics, you mention a club, oh, Louisiana, oh yeah, a guy named Howard Odell books that, right? They'll be like, yeah, how'd you know that? I've never known history like that, like known the bookers like that.
there's experience, and then there's just knowing the history, like knowing about Rodney Dangerfield and knowing about the Tonight Show. Just have an appreciation. I think just have an appreciation for comedy. That's what it comes down to. But yeah, specific stuff like that where it would be impossible if you didn't go on the road because you didn't have the opportunity. That's not the same thing. It like Bill Burr, if there was a textbook, he would be in the comedy textbook.
100%. And not to mention, he was the biggest comedian at that time.
Yeah, still. Anyway, I was listening to something and they were talking about Chappelle saw Bill Burr and he was like, they don't know what you're doing yet. I think Chappelle saw Bill Burr at the Cellar or something and he was like, they don't know what you're doing yet, but they will, and it'll take time. I don't know where I get these stories. I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard that is accurate, but if it's not true, my apologies.
I'm pretty sure that's a YouTube video. It's outside the cellar, and Bill Burr's saying it. He's talking about how he still didn't have much money living off pasta and pancakes, and he was running to the cellar, pouring down rain to almost missed his spot. And yeah, he said when he got off stage, Chappelle said, "Hey, one day or whatever you're gonna be." He said got him through like another 5 years of BS. You know, I heard a story about
That
him.
got me chills. Oh my
Yeah,
God. What it takes is one person to believe in you and be like, I see what you're doing, to keep you going.
100%. Well, the right person.
Off of a compliment like that. I could freaking substitute breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like that would keep my ego. Anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be from somebody who holds some weight for me. Like, you know, sometimes when I get somebody at the McDonald's, it's like, oh, you're going to be famous. You know, that's nothing. But when when Norm told me, like, one of my jokes was one of his favorite jokes he's ever heard, that was like, I actually know how to write jokes. Like, in my mind, I felt like since I wasn't smart, I can never really write jokes. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wow, I guess I am a joke writer.
That's so amazing. Yeah. I mean, if I could be known for anything like if writing was a thing where it's like, wow, she's a great writer, that would mean so much. Like writing, being a good writer, I have so much respect for good writing. Yeah, the one time when I was in LA, I took a UCB improv class and we were all hanging out after our show. I was so lucky. I had awesome people in that class. Like, so we're all hanging out at Birds on Sunset Boulevard, or Franklin. It was Franklin. And there was someone in the class, Stephanie, I still keep in touch on Instagram. And we were all talking. And they're like, yo, you going to sign up for 201? And I was like, I can't afford it. Like, I worked at Johnny Rockets. I made $16 a day. And Stephanie, it changed my life because someone saying something and doing something so kind, it blew me away. I didn't know people were generous like this. So she was like, look, when I heard you weren't going to go on in UCB, it broke my heart that you couldn't afford it. She goes, look, I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay for your 201 class.
Wow.
And Stephanie, if you're listening, that I still am feeding off of the generosity of that moment. So I'm always grateful. And I think about it all the time. I was just like, please let me get successful so I could pay it forward. If people paid it forward, I mean, that is what life is about. Like hope. And seeing there is good people out there, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure out in LA, it's cool how like when me and you go to the movies and you're like, oh, I know that person, and then you'll tell me, remember a few movies we've seen, like Jurassic Park? That is
Yes.
pretty crazy.
Yes.
Like, I don't really.
Who was in Jurassic Park? And I was like, what? They're in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, in
Yes.
commercials.
All the time. I see a kid I did an improv class with doing the Allstate commercial, red hair. I forgot what his name was. He was actually a celebrity assistant one time, and I remember going to him like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I was like, do you like it? Like, is that good work? He goes, put it this way. You're paid to make someone else's dreams come true. That's all he said. I was like, yep. That's the
that's
thing.
heavy.
I mean, people can job hop all they want, but the truth is, if you're making someone else's dreams come true other than your own, it's tough.
I had a guy once offer me, and he wasn't even a big celebrity, but he got a big check, and he was paying me so low, like $8 an hour cash to be a celebrity assistant. I don't even think he was a celebrity. I'm a comedian, so it was something it wasn't even per the job. You know what his trade-off was? And that was to do stuff like clean out his garage and
Oh,
like stupid stuff, reorganize. But he wanted me to like travel with him, and he goes, now I'll give you an opportunity for stage time with me. You could share the stage. I'll let you do 5 minutes of stage time before me. And it's like that was the trade-off. And I was getting paid hourly when I actually did physical work. So he's like, everything would be covered, your meals, your plane ticket, but I wouldn't get paid to go on the road with him, I don't think. Like, it was just the trade-off for that. And then when I'd go to his house and clean, or like he'd have a list of things for me to do, I'd get paid like $8 an hour for that. But it would be like the craziest stuff.
and probably strenuous on your body.
I quit after my first day when it was like I had to order all this stuff online, respond to a bunch of stuff, and I was like, first off, this ain't for me. And then I had
Right.
to clean his garage and make these airplane tickets and cover it on my end. I didn't even have the money. He's like, didn't want to give me the card. He was like, I'll pay you with the money.
So he wouldn't even give you his card to order the tickets?
No, he's like, I'll pay you. I'll cash app you the money. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not getting involved, man. He's making the biggest mistake of my life.
Okay, so that tells you everything. Someone that toxic who threatens you with, oh, you'll make the big. That's like any ex when you leave them and they say you'll regret it. It's like, wow, thank you. Anybody who has that little EQ, emotional intelligence,
Yeah,
shouldn't even be around.
he's
Like,
a celebrity. Yeah, he was a celebrity. I think he was bitter because his show ended and he couldn't get nothing else, and he
so
just he was on a hit. He was on like a hit show. I guess the idea was he went as a background extra, and then they liked him and put him in a bigger role, I guess. And he lasted a few years, but he wasn't like a noticeable celebrity. Like, I don't think if you've seen him, you'd know who he was, but I know he got a decent paycheck because it was a big name show. But then he tried doing comedy.
Like $40, $50 a day and up front. Or I don't know. So he was going to pay for your hotel and plane and plus give you 5 minutes?
Yeah, he's gonna give me 5 minutes of stand up before his sets, pretty much. And then
cool, bro. You could think of it like an unpaid internship.
yeah, but I was just like,
But up front, like it would have been different if he took care of it all. You know, bought the tickets,
I mean,
bought the hotel room, but he wanted you to put it on your card. That sounds so weird.
and they cash at me. But that wasn't my biggest thing about it. One, my thing was he was like a jerk the whole time, talking down to me. And when I knew him, it was from a comedy standpoint. But two, it's like I'm not gonna leave the mecca of stand-up comedy to fly to Iowa and do 5 minutes. It's like, bro, I'm in Times Square. I got 8 spots tonight. What are you talking
Wow.
about?
Yeah.
I'm getting paid money. I got to pay my bills with this shit.
Yeah.
And
The
it's like, you want to fly to Iowa.
You're giving
Yeah.
up 8 spots to get 1. You're negative 7 spots.
Or whatever it is that weekend. But it's like, this is New York. We got unlimited stage time. Not to mention, you get paid.
I do want to go on the road, though.
Yeah, I know it's important, at least to get on the road, unless you land some hit show or something, or maybe, some of these comedians work the road for a long time, and they slowly do build their fan base.
Yeah.
And we'd never know them. Have you ever been around a celebrity you didn't know? Like somebody that's like...
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been around a lot of celebrities living in LA and New York. I waited twice on Quentin Tarantino.
Damn.
Yeah. Out of
What's
respect.
he eat? Wait, hold on. What's he eat? You got to at least tell us what he eats.
Honestly, I totally forgot.
I seen a thing that came out about Eddie Murphy. Somebody said he was a bad tipper, but I talked to Richie Tinkett, his manager, who rolled with him at that time, and Eddie had a guy in charge of paying for everything and tipping everybody. And I guess Eddie would tell the guy, hey, tip them good. And the guy would just keep all the money. So Eddie busted him and fired him. But he had a reputation for being a bad tipper because of that guy.
Sucks. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing. That actually happened when I was at the diner, graveyard shift, Hollywood. There would be celebrities and their friend would be so cheap, and I would be like, I don't want to think of you less than a person. But anyway, back to the question. Yeah, I used to I used to work in a kid cafe in Soho. It was an elite VIP kid cafe where all the rich people would go. It was a preschool and a spa into one. So I'll give you a list of the clients: Gwyneth Paltrow, Heidi Klum, Naomi Watts, a bunch of executives, like executives from MAC Cosmetics, Bill Cosby. This was before he got arrested, but Bill Cosby, his grandkids went there.
Wow.
Filthy rich club.
Crazy.
And, oh yeah. So one time, me and my coworkers. So here's the thing. This woman, she opens up a kid cafe in a filthy rich place, and she hires a manager that's 20 years old who has her boyfriend. She has her boyfriend working. Oh my God. So it was like just a team of 4 people or 5 people. And so anyway, Naomi Watts, oh my God. I shouldn't even say the poor thing. She came back, her meatballs were cold. Or there was a hair in her turkey meatballs. That's what it was.
Oh my God.
She came, she was like, excuse me, there's a hair in my meatball. And I would be mad too. It was expensive. Somehow there was a hair in her turkey meatballs. So aside, Naomi, it wasn't me. I swear, I feel terrible. It was very not organized. One time, okay, so here's the thing. The account would be under people's names. So they wouldn't pay with cash. They would pay with accounts. Oh, throw it on my account. So one day, a woman starring in a 2 hit primetime TV shows, not going to say her name. Anyway, these people, you're like, do you want me to be real, like I know who you are, or do you want me to pretend like I don't know who you are because of privacy? What do you want from us? I mean, geez. Anyway, so this woman, she was really rude, and I was like, okay, in my head, I made the decision to pretend like I didn't know who she was, because she seemed pushy and like really grotesque in a dick way. So I go, oh, I'm sorry, what's your name? Oh, she goes, put it on my account. And I go, okay, what's the name it's under? And she got so offended that I didn't know her name. But it was me pretending I didn't know her name. I didn't know how to spell her name. Anyway, so she spelled it out so slow and in my face. She was like, duh, duh. And I was like, whoa, girl, please back away. Like, she took it personal. Ugh. What about you? Have you,
it's crazy how offended people can get if you don't know them. I've had
damned if you don't, though, because if you say, "Oh, I know who you are," they want to pretend they're invisible. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Gee.
I had I had that happen. I had one, I forgot who she was now, but I guess she was famous when she was younger, like in the 80s or 90s. And I was in my friend's like a tech guy and lives in this rich building. He started a tech company and it blew up. Like, we're nowhere near on the same financial level to be friends. And I'm in his building. It's like by Union Square, like this nice apartment where the elevator opens up to your apartment. And we're there. Oh my God, this place was lovely. I loved it. It was insane. And there's some lady standing there and she was like being weird. And I was looking at her like, yo, are you getting in the elevator or not? Because if not, we're going to go. I didn't know about the elevator doors opening to certain apartments. And she kind of was like, and then she walked in. Then he goes, I know, man, it was hard when I first started meeting celebrities around here. I didn't know how to act either.
Said that?
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I didn't even know who that was. No, he said to me after she got in the elevator. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even know who that was. But I know he was proud she lived in his building and stuff. And I guess it was some actor girl from the 80s. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, I had no clue who that even was. Like, and then we go in and we were chilling. But that was one. Then the one I wanted to tell you, though, was when I first moved to New York, I was under the assumption that everybody's famous. I was naive from Ohio. Like, I'd be walking down the street like, oh, I just seen Goldie Hawn. It wouldn't be her or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would just think I seen people last minute. And anyways, one of these guys at the comedy club spot I was getting to go on was kind of a jerk, an older guy. And he's like, are you on tonight? Like after I said something, then I was like, yeah, it felt good to be on, like I'm on this show. And I was like, yeah, actually I am, I pointed to a lineup, I'm Dominic. And then I said, what's your name? And he was not, he's like, oh, you don't know my name and you've been living in New York? Well, you need to do some research. And he was like a dick about it.
Wow.
So, figured out his name.
How they look. Like, I never in my life would say that. How can you be conscious and say something like that? You don't know who to name it? Like,
yeah, first off, how are you mad that you didn't do good enough that I know you?
Right.
Maybe you should have did a little better. Or your PR people.
Yeah. Maybe you should have worked a little harder, man.
Yeah. And there was nobody really.
You're the bad person. Oh.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There was nobody really around. It was just me and him. So it's like, whatever. Like, I looked him up and I couldn't find nothing. I'm Googling the dude. I see a couple open mics he's at. So I go up to him. I'm so naive.
A mugshot. Like, oh, I found you from your mugshot.
Yeah. I'm so naive that I go up to him in front of a bunch of people. And I'm like, hey, I don't know if I had the right spelling, but I did a bunch of Googling. I couldn't find nothing on you but a couple open mics. And, people are dying at the guy. He's never really liked me since. And then I realized afterwards, that was a really jerk move of me, but I didn't even realize. I was so naive.
Right. I don't know. I think that's good for you. Well, hey, you hopefully prevented him from saying that to another person. Like, he should be pointed out. He brought that on himself. He was the one who initiated. Don't you know who I am? So, of course, he opened the door for that. So then you did your due diligence. You looked it up and you went back. No, I really couldn't find anything. He invited that in.
Yeah, I don't think that I stopped him from anything. He's one of those old school, hard-headed people that's just, I'm sure he's stuck in his ways. I see him from time to
Right.
time
Wow.
doing
Anyway,
his thing.
so let's get into hot topics. Okay, now Dom, what they were debating
Yes.
on Quora, okay? What is the most near-death experience that you've ever had?
Closest one I ever had was in high school. Me and my buddy found out that we were both dating the same girl, and
No.
we went to her house together, and she broke up with both of us, so we got mad. We were both heartbroken over her. So we went to her house to
Good
confront her,
bond.
and there was another dude there.
Wait, so there's
Yeah, so we
this-
egged his car, and then she dumped both of us for this guy. He was there, and we egged his car. We were like, oh, we're just gonna egg his car. So we drove by and threw eggs at his car, and he started shooting at us. He was inside his car.
No,
Yeah, and it was.
you were chucking eggshells, and he was chucking gun shells.
Yeah.
Fun. Now, thank God he didn't, where did the bullet, what happened to the bullet? Like, it just flew right by you?
Yeah, you could hear the bullet going zing, zing. I was in a Camaro. There's snow on the ground. It's rear wheel drive. I'm sliding all over. And I'm just like, keep your head down. It's me and my friends. And you could hear the bullets going zing. They're hitting the car. And we drove, couldn't find a cop nowhere.
Did he try to come after you guys after that day?
Yeah, a few times he shot at us, and then he recently reached out later to one of my friends, and he had a child, and he's like, hey man, I've been looking over my shoulder worrying about you retaliating against me. And he's like, I got a kid, I just want to squash this.
What? He tried to make it like he's the victim here. He's the one shooting, and he's like, I'm a victim. I got a kid. What?
Yeah, he did. And, he tried to make himself. He shot at me like 3 times. And I ran into a girl. We had some mutual friends from the neighborhood. And she was like, oh, yeah, I was on the phone with him and he seen you. And he just started shooting at the red light. And he was a good damn driver because I'm swerving. I'm like, man, this dude was on the phone shooting at me and steering. And I could barely outrun him. I mean, it was a Cavalier. Those Cavaliers are good cars.
Yeah, they're built like
in general.
Cavaliers. Oh, Cavaliers. I was thinking of the Cadillac. Never. Dang. So he's in like a 97 Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah.
Scary. Do you still feel like
one time we found a cop? No, but I'm quick to suspect danger because I know it could happen. Since it's happened in my past, I'm quick to be like, if there's a sudden movement.
It's scary. I mean, people with relationships, it's always somebody in a relationship, like a bad relationship, that things get dangerous.
Yeah, 100% of the problems I think I've had have been over a girl. It seems like guys and the ego. There was a dude in Times Square. His girlfriend was flirting with somebody, and to make him jealous, she was trying to make him jealous or whatever. And this is just the story I heard secondhand, but I heard it from a cop in Times Square. I'm always over there. So this was after a show at LOL, block away. And I don't remember anything happening, but I remember going outside and there being some hectic cops and ambulance. So what happened was a girl was flirting with a guy to get her boyfriend jealous. And the dude wasn't having it. He's like, no, you ain't going to let me buy you these drinks and dance with me and grind on me. And he's telling the girl, he's like, no, you ain't going home with him. And she's like, he's my boyfriend. And the dude shot him and killed him. Yep.
Oh.
They never caught anybody.
Oh my gosh. I mean, love should never be possessive. You know what I mean? That is, people gotta learn, like, why would you want to be with someone that treats you less than? Like, that guy, if his girl was flirting with another guy to make him jealous, he should have recognized, why would I want her? She's got some issues she doesn't respect me. He should have just took that as a good sign. Like, thank you for showing me your true colors. Bye. Instead, he tried to kill somebody and endangering his own life. Like, he would ruin his life going to jail. Or he did kill somebody, right? He ruined two.
He killed somebody. He got away, though.
Oh, wow. Man, it's not worth it. People with relationships and stuff, if communicating doesn't solve a problem, then that's it. You got to walk away. People try to force an outcome with violence. It doesn't work.
Have you had any near-death experience?
Yeah, well, my appendix exploded 2 years ago, and I didn't even know. So I was walking around with a fever, and I remember I was like going to open mics. I was going to Pilates classes. I thought that if I worked out, that I could cure my cold, or, and I would tell my friends, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not feeling right. And they'd be like, welcome to getting old. I was like, ew. I was like, that's how it feels getting old, just like achy all the time. And mind you, I was in my 20s. Like, what? People and age are so weird. Like, they always are trying to age you. From the moment you're out of the wound, they're trying to upmark your age. Anyway, so, I mean, we are getting a day older every day, but come on, chill. Let me enjoy my age. So, long story short, I wasn't listening to my body. I felt guilty for taking off work. I felt anxious. I was going to school full time, plus working. And finally, I was like, let me just go to the doctor so I could stop Googling. I was going in these rabbit holes with trying to dissect what I had. And I was like, okay, maybe I have Lou Gehrig's disease. Like, I was diagnosing. WebMD is no good. So, long story short, I ended up getting sepsis because by the time I went to the hospital, it had already exploded and infected my vein, my blood. My blood was poisoned, and I wasn't getting better. I thought I was going to die. I really did. And the hospital I was at, I'm not going to say what hospital it was, but boy, they kept me in. So by the third time, I had to go to the emergency room because it was 2 months and I still had high fevers. That's not good. So the third time I was told, because they discharged me, come back. They called, discharge, do blood work, come back, discharge. So by the third time, my family and my boyfriend at the time was like, don't you dare go back to that hospital. They were like Frankensteining me, always poking holes, and that I wasn't getting better. So the third time I went to New York Presbyterian, and thank God, they're an excellent, excellent hospital. If anybody needs a hospital in Manhattan, New York Presbyterian, excellent. You know what it was that really cheered me up? They had good food. The food in New York Presbyterian, A+ to the chefs. Because the food at the one hospital I was at in Queens was so depressing. It was so disgusting. The food would make me puke.
Wow.
But the food in New York Presbyterian made me so happy. I only had that to look forward to. Just staring at a hospital wall for like 2 months straight. I got so depressed, but the food perked me right up. I'd be like, yeah, my burrito's coming today. Like, oh my God. A+. Compliments to the chef at New York Presbyterian. Anyway.
Yeah, that's wild though that you had your appendix explode, and what you just thought was like a sore muscle or something.
I just didn't validate how I felt. And so I thought I was coming down with something. Also, I was really stressed. in my life at that time with school, and I don't know, I wasn't really happy in my life. I was just very stressed, and I thought that it was stress that I was dealing with or going through some weird changes in my life instead of listening to my body.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was the pain?
You know what's weird? It was I didn't have any belly pain. That was the weird thing. Like when I went to the hospital, at first the nurses were like, okay, we'll see what you have. And then they came back after I did the MRI and they were like, dude, your appendix exploded. They were like, you didn't feel anything? I was like, no. They were like, people typically are in excruciating pain with this. They were like, so you didn't have any vomiting? And I think I actually did vomit once. I did vomit once prior. But I don't know. I was just like, I wasn't in tune with my body. I was just like kind of a robot. Like eat, sleep, work, homework. Eat, sleep, homework. I wasn't in a good place. So
Wow.
thank God I'm
Yeah,
okay.
that's brutal.
And
That's
everybody out there,
insane.
yes, validate how you feel. That's important. My feelings, the thing is, I never really allowed myself to cry. And I didn't have, you know, when you work so much, it's like I don't have time to have emotion.
Yeah.
You got to just keep. And I became a robot.
The busyness distracts
All
you.
right, so we're going to wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a workaholic.
I like the busyness. The distraction's good for me, I think.
Yeah, it is kind of like filling a void. I'd like to get successful, own a house, and then I can work on not being a workaholic. But it's like right now, I don't have any money. I don't own a house. I need to be a workaholic.
Right, to get those things. Well, this has been great hanging with you here. We did it. I had a blast again on another Gape episode. I'm so happy you're still with us. Thank God. Jeez, oh man.
Oh my God, same. I'm glad you're okay. Like that's freaking scary. Guns and stuff. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for watching us, Tortilla Thriller. Subscribe and all that, and so we can let you know when episodes are out. We got a whole YouTube page with content. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching us.
Hell yeah. All right. Adios, Jersey, and everybody else. New York, stay safe.
Yes. Have a good week.
Good
Bye,
night.
guys.